There's one last story I want to tell you. About 12 years ago, I got a phone call from Chris Nolan, and he asked me if I wanted to do a Batman movie. Of course I wanted to do a Batman movie, and I really, really wanted to work with Chris Nolan. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I had a problem. It was easy enough for me to be dark and be Batman, but I didn't know how to be Bruce Wayne. And so Chris said, why don't you ask a friend, ask another composer to become the Bruce Wayne character? So I instantly thought of my friend James Stephen Howard, who is one of the most elegant, prolific, great composers and human beings that I know. And we went to London, we met up with my friend Mel Weston. Mel and I have been making music together since we were 17 or something like that. And we did Batman Begins, and we just thought one movie, that's it. We never occurred to us that we would do a sequel or anything like this. But a couple of years later, Chris came into my studio, and he said, let me tell you the story of the Joker. And he started to tell me the story about this character who was full of anarchy, who was fearless, who was really the only character in the whole movie who was always telling you the truth. And I said, who are you going to have? Who's going to be the actor for this? And he said, well, this is young actor Heath Ledger. And every day when we saw footage, every moment we saw of him fearlessly acting this part was amazing. And then just before we finished the movie, we got a phone call saying that Heath had died. And my reaction was, I needed to tone the music down, I needed to take out all this stuff, all this anarchy. And I suddenly realized that the only way I could show my true respect for the man and for the man's work and for his fearlessness, to keep in the shards of broken glass, to keep in the rusted steel, to keep in the anarchy and the punk thing. And somehow, we got back on our horse and Chris came up with The Dark Knight Rises, and we found our spirit again and we found our inventiveness again. And we finished that movie and had an amazing premiere in New York. And that following day we got on a plane to London, and we arrived in London like at dawn. It was really early in the morning. I went to my apartment and I was supposed to do an interview, and the journalist, the first thing he asked me was, what did I think about the shooting that had happened while they were playing our movie in a small town in Colorado called Aurora. And I hadn't heard of it. And like when you ask these questions out of the blue, the only words that came to me was devastated. And all day I was thinking about these people and the loved ones that were left behind and the tragedy of it all. And then all I could do was say a word, devastated. So that night I phoned the choir in London, and I said, can we record something? Can we make something wordless that comes from our heart, that is music that reaches across the Atlantic to these poor people left behind in Aurora? And the world hasn't gotten any better. The world is a hideous place these days. But we here, from all corners of this world, from all nations, from all languages, tonight we're here to put our arms around you, and just for you, just for Budapest. We're going to do this piece with love from our hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, from us, we give you Aurora.